Speaking of children, we had this video drop, and this is a clip from the Mazzoni Center. They actually got $5 million in taxpayer money. You pay this person's salary, Mike. I pay this person's salary. Credit to Chris Rufo for dropping this video. Check this out.
I am Rachel Simon. I use she, her pronouns. I am the author of the Everybody book, which is an LGBTQ inclusive sex ed resource for 7 to 12-year-olds. Sexuality education starts the minute you're born. I mean, we're born with bodies. These bodies are cool. We want to touch our bodies. We're learning about privacy and, being sexual in public from a very early age. Homophobic and transphobic ideas from parents can absolutely be a problem. Inescapable judgment. Yeah, bigoted, misinformed parents who have no idea how to talk about gay sex. They're biased. If they are religious, it can be very difficult to get into the conversation with them.
Mike, explain to me how we as a society are going to uproot this level of depravity. I mean, these people are operating on children, not just their minds, they're operating on their bodies. We have an industry supported by the law, I should point out, or I should say protected by the law, of attacking children even once they're born. How do we get rid of this, Mike?
Good question. We live in a post-Christian world. There's a new religion that most people ascribe to, called moral therapeutic deism. Long story, but the main tenet of it is the most important thing, the most important virtue in the world is to be nice. You just have to be nice. Nice people go to heaven. That's all you have to be. So the converse of that, the worst thing possible is to be mean. So everyone wants to be nice. No one wants to be mean. Jesse Kelly doesn't care about being nice or thought of as mean, but most people do. That's how they say. I was listening to your radio show the other day, and you played the clip of the queer fourth grade teacher who was talking about being queer with her students in the classroom, whatever. And you made the comment that you're like, I don't want anything to do with these people. Like, we're not friends. We don't heal. We don't unite. We're not bonding. We're not coming together. These people should have nothing to do with schools. And I want them to have nothing to do with my life. Now, you and I, we're protecting our kids, Jesse. We're doing everything. I would never let them be anywhere near my children. These not only groomers, but perverts, right? But I'm worried about most of the people who just want to be nice and don't want to say anything, don't want to step up, don't want to ruffle any feathers, don't want to be mean. And they're willingly hand their children over to these kids, over to these schools, to these people, just maybe assuming the best, because again, they just want to go to heaven and they just want to be nice. And they're going to let their kids be colonized by these people who are infiltrating them with evil, horrible things, like things that 10 years ago would just boggle the mind, let alone like our grandparents, right? So the first thing is just make sure you do not outsource the responsibility of raising your kids to people who hate you and to people who hate your worldview, because they do, and they're actively attacking it and they're going after our kids to do it now. Just do not let your kids anywhere near these people.
Mike, you have an overdose special out called American Overdose about fentanyl. Yeah. Just give people a little primer on this. People do not understand this poison that is coming across our border.
Yeah, and it's a full-scale attack, purposeful, might I add. The greatest killer of people 18 to 49 in our country today is fentanyl. We do this thought experiment about 9/11. So 9/11 is like the quintessential moment of horror and tragedy, whatever. 3,000 people died. 60,000 people overdosed in 2020 on fentanyl. 60,000. So it's 20x 9/11. So imagine if you took all the deaths spread out over a year, all across the country, and you concentrated it in a single moment, in a single image, at a single time. Imagine the devastation of that. And that's what we're seeing. But no one's really paying attention to because it's spread out all over the place. So it's the greatest killer of people 18 to 49. An overdose 1 every 5 minutes. How about that? The chemicals are coming from, of all places, Wuhan, China. They're not just coming from China, they're coming from Wuhan, China, shipped to the cartels in Mexico and then brought across the border here. So we have lots of different issues here, right? Not up to and including the border protection itself. So we talked about how that works coming across the border, how it's made with the cartels down south, who is dying. It's not just homeless people, as if they don't even matter anyway, right? It's not just homeless people. We talked to a psychiatrist who in his 20 years of practice, he's never seen an overdose death in his practice. This last year he had 2. One of them was a middle schooler who took like a oxycodone or something like that. But it was laced with fentanyl, which is what all these That's how fentanyl people die. You need 2 grains of a rice amount of fentanyl and you're dead in minutes. So they lace it into these other pills that people think are other pills. And this middle schooler, his dad was downstairs making him a hamburger for lunch. It was a school day. He wasn't at school because schools were locked down, Jesse. We got to keep our kids safe. We got to protect them. And he was protected from COVID as he took a pill to feel. Took a pill to not be afraid anymore. Took a pill because he's been isolated from his friends and his family and his school and his sports and activities and everything he does. And took a pill and then died. And his dad found him when he came upstairs to give him the hamburger. This is happening, and we had a president who cared about this, who wanted to do something about it, and he was laughed at and mocked and ridiculed. And now we have a president who doesn't care because we need more illegal immigrants in this country.
Don't miss Jesse Kelly Breaks History, Che Guevara, the latest episode of a new series available now exclusively for FirstTV supporters. Visit the FirstTV app or thefirsttv.com to subscribe and start watching today.